We live.
And we are live, man. Number 49.
Number 49.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, man.
Hmm.
Shortly will be 50.
50.
My
Then,
friend.
as they say, Ufumba na Kufumbua will be in 100. God damn. Man,
Yeah, man.
it's beautiful when people, when you evacuate the noises from your head, things flow so well. You realize you were born ready.
Born ready, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Born ready.
What's up with your camera? Umezima kamera kiasi?
It's coming on right now.
Okay.
But how's your week been? This is the first week of the month, of the year, rather. Is it? Of the year,
Yeah,
rather.
for me, it's just a continuation. If you were a Danvers punistic on 31st, on first will still be the Danvers puny character. I
It
normally
doesn't
say,
change.
what I say is that, like right now it's 7:07 in Kenya. You have up to tomorrow morning to make any changes, because tomorrow is the first day of the rest of your life, regardless of which year you are, regardless of which part of the year you are. It may even be in June, May, September. Your new year is the day you wake up in the morning, because you have no guarantee when your number is going to be called, or your plug is going to be yanked off, and you get to know your shags. So the best time to make any changes is when you wake up in the morning. When you wake up, the alarm rings, say it's today. Hii vitu zingine
Actually,
is,
the other
yeah?
day, I think there was a space that I think George and Mark Duke were co-hosting. They are talking about New Year resolutions, and in one of those, I think there was a contribution from Andrew Kibe who said change only happens at the point of your decisions. So if you make your decision right now, then the change happens right then and now. You don't have to wait until the calendar turns back to January 1 to make that change. You can make it at any moment. And as you say, we get a new day, a new year every time we wake up off the bed to start a new day.
It's like in Formula One. In Formula One, you have uh, about 50 or 60 laps. The best lap you can do is the next lap. No matter how things get fucked up, you have another lap to do until you get to the final lap. Anything can happen. You always have a new chance every single day. The alarm rings, you are up, that's the day to do it. Because I normally ask people, what if the calendar was never invented? What if you're operating on another document? What would happen? Because these things people are saying New Year resolution, they are just trying to use that document as a cover for their puniness. If you are in, let's say you are in, 28th or 29th December, and you want to say New Year resolution, when did you decide on these resolutions? Do you want to tell me you decided on the resolutions in December? Your mind was in limbo. Your mind was dead. January, February, Nini. Because if you are talking something big, you are doing it the new year, and you had the idea somewhere in June, what prevented you from uh, executing this idea? In between, what were you doing? No, I'll start working out next year. In between, what happens? Gym imefunga. The gym is there, instructors are there. You probably have the money to pay for the gym membership. So what the
It's
fuck are you
probably
waiting for?
it's probably even the best time to do it. Somebody was actually, I think, made a comment on Twitter that I think the first 2 weeks of January, gyms are all packed.
They are packed, they are full.
I actually had a friend, he always used to like running. You know, Jeffrey's up in Lavington in Nairobi. You know that like a sports center.
Okay.
Our office was not too far from there. It was probably what, maybe a kilometer away. So this guy had already built his ritual or routine was every time he would leave work at about 6:30, pass by there, do about 10 to 15 laps, get on his car, go home. So he always used to tell me, come January,
Gym is packed.
the parking lot is full with cars.
2 weeks
The
later,
field, the track full. But he said, no worries, I'll give them. I know these are the New Year resolution gang. I'll give them their 2 weeks to see if they'll keep at it. 2 weeks later, the parking lot is free. The track is open. And
it's like the December travelers. People who probably don't have money to travel regularly. So December is the only chance they have to travel. As opposed to business travelers, you find that every month they are on the road or in the air or on the railway. So these are two categories of individuals, and it's not exactly the same example, but we need to avoid being what we call, I call it moto wa magazeti, a fire that is fueled by newspapers, burns very brightly, but within a short time it's gone. I'd rather be a slow burning thing like firewood, burns slow but burns for long. I'd rather do my 15 minutes from September, October, November, even from June, but every day I'm there.
So for you, what would you say? Because I think the number one challenge, one is consistency. How do you keep at it? How do you keep at it that, that challenge you've given yourself or that goal you've given yourself, that one, to ensure you keep healthy and strong, you'll be doing either a weekly walk or a daily walk or some level of some HIIT exercises. How do you ensure that you go past those 2 weeks? How do you ensure you're not the,
I really cannot comment on that because in my upbringing, in my entire, I've never been in the resolutions thing. Because I was brought up, my upbringing was based on if you want to do it now. It has never, in our family, that has never been there. So I cannot really comment on something that I don't know about. What I know is that okay, can you say that New Year
the point
resolution?
is, what I'm trying to get at is not so much about the resolutions. The resolutions are just probably one approach of probably somebody trying to either do goal setting. So they decide this is the point when they want to either start doing something or stop doing something or continue doing something that they have been doing good. So, they'll give it all number of names, but maybe call it goal setting. I do like the term goal settings because maybe you want to look at your goals for a certain period. It could be a monthly goal, a quarterly goal, a yearly goal. Like you could say in a year, you want to save this amount of money. In this year, you want to do this amount of travel. You want to, purchase maybe a toy or two, could be a new car or whatever it might be.
What if you
To
look at
achieve
it?
that goal means doing something consistently. And I think where people fail is that consistency aspect. So for you, how have you been consistent to the promises you set for yourself? Whatever they might be. There might be health goals, there might be financial, they might be personal development, trying to grow yourself in one way or the other, could be spiritual, whatever it might be.
Well, why don't you look at it in two ways? Number one, Okay, I've never been a parent,
Mhm,
but I've been a child,
mhm,
and I remember how it was ingrained into us that when you wake up in the morning and before you go to sleep, you have to brush your teeth.
mhm.
That
Yes.
sort of business, I normally say, even if you listen to Jordan Peterson, he says, for you to be an expert, you have to be a fool sometimes. You have to reduce yourself to even childlike status to get some of these things moving. We used to have poems in primary and even, I think, in nursery. You say, early in the morning, I brush my teeth, blah, 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 what not. Is an indoctrination. So if you have to be like a fool, be like a rookie or student, I'd say put a whiteboard, not an e-whiteboard on a laptop. Buy I'm assuming I'm in that situation now. Buy a whiteboard, an actual whiteboard. Write it in your room that I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, and you have to affirm it yourself. You have to say, you remember in primary, you used to have the loyalty pledge.
Yes.
Yes, pledge it to yourself because you are now like a child. Even if you are 40, 35, 30, what, you are a child in that concept of doing things consistently. You are a kid. You're not going to wake up and your mind to fire directly. It's impossible. So you have to buy a whiteboard. I don't know the cost. I don't know, 2,000, 3,000. I don't have. I used to check them in Jumia some time back. Put it a whiteboard in your room, bedroom. Write those things and mention them every day in the morning because it sounds weird, but accept when in total. Accept you are a child in this thing. Even in your 30s and 40s, you are a rookie in the business of consistency. Just because you've been in this world for 2 or 3 decades doesn't mean that you'll wake up and pick up and go. No, you've had 2 or 3 decades of not being consistent in anything. In fact, the only thing that you are consistent in is going to work. Because if you don't go to work, you'll lose your salary, you get fired. So the same way you've been indoctrinated to go to work, indoctrinate yourself to tune to this thing and make your goals, make it like use something that is achievable. The kind of mathematics that is done by class 1 pupils, you can't, it is not the same that's done by people in class 8. So if you say you want to start walking, like me, I remember I used to do 5 kilometers. I used to do 5. Then slowly I go to 7. And that is before I started posting. Then I said, I looked at where I lived and say, let me map this area and see if I can walk.
Mm.
Then instead of I used to time, I used to say today I'm doing 5 based on this route, 7. Then now I said, let me operate the time base. Let me see if I can walk continuously for 2 hours. Yeah, yeah. I'm doing 9.6 kilometers in 2 hours. And it stops being that's why soon I'll be incorporating now the heat because I was not doing heat. I used to do heat, but I realized heat was not having any effect on my weight. It was improving my strength, but my weight, I think for some reason my body has become addicted to walking so that to maintain weight. Because at the time, due to work issues, I didn't walk for I think a couple of months and I nearly ballooned. It's an addiction. So when these factors come into play, your body picks on it. But it has to be gradual. You have to indoctrinate yourself by writing, by affirmation, by make it gradual and achievable. Because even if you affirm yourself, let's say somebody wants to start walking today, all right, then he says he's going to walk 15 kilometers. Okay, I'm not an expert in walking, but there's a possibility you'll stumble along the road. But you say this month, Monday to Friday, I'm doing 5. Even if you want to do 2 kilometers, no problem. Do those 2 Monday to Friday. So number one, indoctrination, self-indoctrination. The same way we have these, these extremist terrorist groups. You know, these guys, as much as their beliefs are weird and basically criminal, do you know how they believe in them? This is the only way. If I'm ready to die in this thing, the indoctrination they have gone through, you do it yourself now. But on the fitness or savings or whatnot, I want to do 2 kilometers per day, Monday to Friday. And one of the beautiful things about the human being is that when you are succeeding doing something, that dopamine effect of succeeding tells you I can do it again. But it has to be achievable. You have to make yourself, uh, you have to put yourself in a situation whereby you are in a winning position. No one hates losing. You can't say, let's say I'm doing 15 today. You do 15. You've never done so much walking. Maybe you're somebody who's used to driving or using matter. Then today you do 15. Chances are tomorrow morning you'll wake up, your body is screaming to the skies, and you're like, "I what an case kumbili tatu," and that's where you lose the consistency. But if you can do two, 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 two within a month or so, let me try 4. Within 3 months, you are doing 7. 4 months, you're doing 9 kilometers in a breeze. So at the end of the day, is self-indoctrination. You know yourself more than me. I'm not an expert in andrology. You are Andrew Mutua. I'm not the andrology expert. You know yourself. Deep down, you know this works for you. You know this gives you a dopamine rush. You know this one make me feel nice. You know, as much as feelings were against uh, relying on feelings, that dopamine effect is very good to some extent. That, like, the way I normally feel when I finish those 9.6 kilometers, it normally marks around 9.6 to 9.4 at my gate. I do it, but every day it feels 9.6 done. To a point I have to post on Twitter and Facebook like, guys, I've done it. That dopamine makes you go back again. But if you put yourself in a position or you give yourself a goal whereby today you've done it, tomorrow you did not do it, then the other day your body is so weak, you can only do 7. So you're going from 15, 0, 0, then to 7, then you try get 8, then your body crashes, you can only do 4. The consistency makes you, even it really beats down on you. So yeah, Q, the habit loop, reward routine. Yes.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about is this kind of programming that we all need. What you're referring to, indoctrination, programming our minds. And it is true. I like that approach of also using a whiteboard. I remember actually I had a whiteboard back when I was in
Because
Nairobi.
you
I
have
probably
to
need to buy one.
You have to accept that you are a rookie.
Yes.
If you use if you approach this thing with the expert mentality, you'll crumble. Because I normally have there's what you call the working group. It's a group. The admins are based in US, but it's people from many other countries, and you find somebody posting with their app. Somebody has done 15 miles. 15 miles. I can do 15 miles at the moment. So there are so many different.
What about
15 times 1.6? How much is that? Because I mean, 1 kilometer, the difference is.
Yeah.
Let me see. Miles to kms. So it's so much. 1 mile is 1.6 kilometers.
That's about 24 kilometers.
25 kilometers. Some motherfucker has walked 24 kilometers. Can you imagine? So I'm not at that level. There are levels to this thing. I cannot wake up today and say, I want to do 24 kilometers.
And I think actually the challenge sometimes is not even how far you go at it, but do you have the stamina to, actually maybe stamina is not the right word. Do you have sort of the wherewithal to keep at it?
That is where we
have to give yourself a goal of doing a daily 1 kilometer walk. Could be as simple as that.
Yeah,
But if you
because
go past those 2 weeks, if
one
you go
kilometer
past, uh,
per day, that is Monday to Friday, that's 5 kilometers in 1 week. In
yes,
1 month, that's 20 kilometers. When you look
exactly.
at when you've done your whiteboard or your Excel sheet, and it
Mhm.
shows this for somebody who's used to driving and whatnot, and you say you've walked 20 kilometers this month, that gives you an adrenaline rush and
It
tells
does.
you,
It does.
um, I can do 25. This month I can, the next month I can do 25. So you start like that. Within 1 year, you are doing 10 kilometers a day
Yeah.
without even noticing.
And there's also something else you mentioned. So one, there is a level of programming our minds to
Yes.
the point of actually the guy who wrote the 5 a.m. club,
Mm,
the guy of what's his name, Robin Sharma. He
mm,
talks of, you do something for such a period of time that
mm.
you've now made it automatic.
It's like
The,
brushing your
the,
teeth.
the automaticity in your brain is already programmed. The way you've now so programmed yourself that the minute you wake up, you're going to the bathroom to either brush your teeth or take a
Yeah.
leak, whatever it
Mm,
is. It becomes so automatic that it's almost you're on autopilot.
yeah. It's
You
like
could
a fish to
almost
water.
you don't even need to think what the next step is. But you need to have done it. I think he says that they now confirm the studies that you need to do something continuously. I think for 66 days. There are people who also talk of doing it at least for 90 days non-stop,
Don't even
so that
don't,
it
don't
gets
don't look
embedded
at the
in your
time.
mind. Yeah.
Don't look at the number of days. You see, that's why I say break down your goals. That 1 kilometer, you can do it easily. And I assure you, there's somebody, a very obese character,
Yeah.
who doing that 1 kilometer is a major thing for him.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So do that 1 kilometer. You see, the moment you start thinking of days, you start ticking days, day one. Then you get to day 99 and say, today let me relax with 4 chapatis and marago. And you start, it now becomes some sort of achievement. Do you celebrate when you brush your teeth? You
No.
don't. The only way to hack this thing is to make it non-celebratable. Make it a routine. You don't celebrate routines. You don't celebrate when you take a shower, because you look at them, you don't look at it in terms of reward, you look at it in terms of routine. Because the long term is you get to your 80s and 90s, your friends are walking around with a cane, and you're just very okay. You're thinking long term, right? So we also have this problem in today's society of reward based life. I'm doing this, then I'll get this. If that was what was happening in the wild, thing creatures like lions will be extinct. You don't see a lion managing to take down a huge buffalo, then they celebrate. This is routine. We either do this or
Also,
we die.
what would you say? I mean, so reward could be in different forms. So, like the way you are giving that example of when you're tracking, whatever it might be your works, could be
Mm.
your savings. As you see that compounding effect take shape now, the results of that in and of himself can be a reward.
No, see that one.
And the reward is pretty much because you can see if you look at that habit loop, you can see it consists of a reward. Somebody knows when they get a trigger to do something and then they do the action, they
That
expect
one.
there'll be a reward, a dopamine, whatever that reward and in what
That one
form it
is
might be, is,
that
is
one is
what
very okay.
comes.
That's why I said the
Mm,
dopamine hit has a role to play when you're at development stage. you have to go beyond the reward. This is okay if you are picking up, like, the way a child manages to get up in the morning and brush his teeth or her teeth without you prompting them. You say, hey, nice. Yeah? Like he manages to wake up, brush his teeth, take a shower, and polish his shoes and whatnot. And you say, yes, nice. You are doing this. But when that kid is in class 1, that you or nursery is doing, you giving those affirmations of you're on the right track. But will you behave that way with the class 8 or from one child?
No.
No. So it is of utmost important that you go past the reward. It is very important, because what if one day, by I don't know how it's going to happen, the reward goes missing? Are you going to fall back? And the moment the problem is falling back, all that effort gets negated. So because maybe you are in class 1, or maybe you are in, I don't know, class 8, and we do not praise you for cleaning your teeth and what, does it mean that you'll go to school with a dirty uniform and a smelling mouth? That would be a disaster. So as much as the reward plays a role in forming the routine, it is very important that you go past it. Because what are we looking at? We are looking at long-term health. This is not a championship you're looking for, like a bet or a trophy. This is your life. And if you want to talk about reward, maybe say you get to 85, 90 without issues like blood pressure and whatnot. Even if you don't have those issues, 85, 90, you're also nearing the grave. So the reward issue has to be put away. It's like, what do I call it? Launch control
In a
in a
car?
vehicle, for
Yeah.
a car. That enables the vehicle to get off the starting point
Yeah.
without the wheels spinning for smooth takeoff. But once you are running, there's no need for launch control. You are already in the routine of racing. Although, if I can just digress, launch control is not there in Formula One. You have to launch the car yourself manually. So, yeah, there's no launch control, there's no anti-lock braking in Formula One. Niwe na nguvu yako tu, with your skills. So, I very much appreciate the reward thing. But it has to time the habit. This reward bit has to be gradually, not immediately. You don't want to cause a shock. You can see from the picture the reward has been chewed off a bit, si ndio? Imetafunwa kiasi.
Yes.
Yes. It has to be gradually taken off so that the routine is just rotates to cue. Whether the reward is there or not, the routine maintains. Because why? That is your health. You don't want to be having some of these weird diseases at 50, 55. You need to be at your prime at 55, 60, 70, whatnot. It is good even if you are at prime, even 2 months before your death.
To some degree, I'm more or less understanding what you're saying. But I'm also trying to make it make sense to me.
You like rewards a lot.
Eh?
You like rewards a lot. But it's okay. As I said before, the reward has to
that
be.
I like rewards. I understand what you're saying. So, because
and I made it very clear, the reward is not to be withdrawn, like to cause a shock. No, it has to be a gradual reduction from reward to normal way of doing things, unless of course you are in a contest. But this is not a contest. This is your life. We are trying to live a life whereby our intake of medication is.
Would you say, I mean, as much as you're putting that as your life and good health that will help you, live a long, healthy life,
Mm.
would you say that in and of itself is also a reward, that you're not sick, you're not going to be ailing, you're not going to be infirmed in a way that maybe you can't move, you're not bedridden, you're not, wouldn't you say that's also a reward in and of itself? Because what are you pursuing when you have to tell yourself, no, I don't feel like doing this exercise, I don't feel like waking up and doing my daily work, but there's something else moving you to do it.
Yes.
And to some degree, I that's what I'm saying. It's like there's some kind of a mental dissonance in my mind now, and I'm trying to articulate it in a way that you'll understand.
Of
Um,
course, the the
I,
the, the long
I,
term good health is
I,
a reward
I
on its
hear
own.
you. Yeah, just give me a sec. I
No.
hear you in terms of the reward. We all understand the reward to some degree at the start is important. Um, but what you're trying to say is you need to go beyond the reward, because when that reward is not there and all you have is pain, could be pain of working out, could be pain of going through a phase, and sometimes also that reward is not immediate. When you're doing your daily works every day, your good health will not show up in the evening when you're trying to sleep.
No.
So I think, and I guess probably this is what you're trying to articulate. The reward, sometimes it could be immediate. If you probably, let's say, if you're giving yourself a 1 year saving or a quarterly saving plan, within a few months you begin to see how that is you begin to see the fruits of your labor in terms of the savings that you've been making. But if it's a 10-20 year goal,
Mm.
which is dictated by what you do today, I guess this is where what you're saying makes sense, that
Yes.
you have to go past an immediate reward, where I think the only thing you have to convince yourself, and I think the best guy who articulates this is this guy called David Goggins. And I wanted to play, I think I even,
The guy who takes who does extreme sports, jogging and
mm,
that, doing all manner of weird stuff that is near
exactly.
literally superhuman.
So I think as human beings, because I think, we live in this very fickle world that we are in, where, we want to be cuddled quite a lot. So this idea of rewards, that's why, when I was in primary school, we never had graduation for primary school. You only had graduation when you got into
University,
university. But now, every stage,
nursery,
you go to grade 1,
they are
graduation.
wearing gowns.
There's graduation. So it's like the human being has been made so weak that you have to give him a token every time to keep him
Participation trophies are
on
given also.
the participation trophies are given every so often. So, and I think, let me play the David Goggins. And I don't know if we are now in alignment in terms of what you're trying to say, that you need to go past the reward,
Yeah.
that then you realize that then actually, I think you've said it best when you say go past the reward, because I think we need to get to the point that the action is where the action is.
It's like we normally like this guy I follow religiously nowadays, Eddie Pinero. The joy of mountain climbing is the strain of getting there. Because if the goal was to be to get on top of the mountain,
Take a
you get
helicopter.
a helicopter. Uh, or you could, if you have the resources, you can go to it's called lymphosuction. They
Yes.
can shape your body how you want. Huh? You can take steroids so that you can define your muscles and whatnot. But
So it's not the
where,
output. It's not just the out, because I guess I think it's good we've actually belabored this point, because um, it's now bringing home, I think, what you are articulating when you said going beyond the reward. I think it's very good we've sort of stuck on that point to fully, uh, you know, break it down and sort of debate it or analyze it to get a better understanding. So and I guess that's why all these times when people say trust in the process, or they say these kind of things of it's in the journey, the reward is in the journey. So what we are saying, the modern man in some sense has been oriented to focus purely on the end game, on the output, which is great. It's good to have that goal because you want to see something substantive at the very point. But the point is not to be fixated on that final thing. As you're saying, mountain climbing is not just getting to the top. It's in that point when you're almost on your falls and trudging all the way up to the mountain. That's where the journey is. That's where the joy is, or rather, that's the action. It might
And
not be
you see,
joyful,
this
but
thing has been
that's the point.
Put even in our day-to-day lives. Like we have this glove. Okay, you can play the video first. Just listen.
Oh, you want to? Okay,
Let's play the video first.
let's play the video. Okay.
There's no fucking passion. There's no fucking motivation. There's no, oh my God, man, it's every day of your life just doing. No passion, no discipline, no motivation. All these words, I hate that so many people fucking use these words now because it's watered. It's someone sitting in a room by themselves and they figure themselves out and say, God, this is going to fucking suck. Where's passion when you're 300 pounds? Where's the motivation when you can't read and write? Where is it? So how did this happen? I just fucking did. I just did. I said, maybe at the end of this journey, there'll be something there for me. If not, I can read. If not, I'm 185 fucking pounds. There's no magic potion. There's no, let me wake up and look at some shit. No, all those words are overused. They're bullshit. It's all bullshit. Just do. You're living. How do you want to live? How do you want to die? How do you want to fucking be remembered? That's it. That's it. Period.
You see, as I was saying, look
Just
at stuff like Glovo. You order food, it comes fully cooked. The process of cutting onions,
it's all abstracted.
Tomatoes, whatnot, boiling things, timing things, you standing in the kitchen so that something does not overboil or something does not get burnt up. That one is removed. And these are rudimentary, mundane things. Like when you are making milk tea, the discipline is you stand next to that sufuria before it flows over. The discipline of when I boil water in my kettle is to stand there so that when it's boiled, I put it in the thermos flask, the vacuum flask, because if I'm away, then the water boils, then I'm far, then I have to come back and reboil it and consume power. If I'm cooking things, I have to remain there so that things don't get roasted in the kitchen. So when you remove all that and there are times even don't have to make a call. You just tap your fingers on an app. And you see, it's really...
And now with the Neuralink, it will read your thoughts. Oh,
yes.
I'm hungry.
So it's
and
really...
your local...
It's
like...
He
already knows your usual order. So boom.
It's like now, you've taken a lion that lives in a zoo compared to a lion that lives in Masai Mara. The lion that lives in a zoo, yes, it is still a dangerous creature as far as interaction with human beings are concerned, because those lions, I don't know, you find the zoo gets open and a lion kills someone. But again, I'm not an expert in, lionology or whatever they want to call study of lions. If you take that lion and place it in Masai Mara,
it won't survive.
It will have a very difficult time because in the zoo it is given meat.
Yeah.
In Masai Mara, I tell you, you see that huge creature with the horns? That is your meat. Find a way of extracting it.
Go for it. Yeah.
And as much as, of course, there's that wild instinct and whatnot, before that instinct kicks in effectively, the lions which were born and brought up in Masai Mara, they are miles ahead.
And I mean, the thing is, it already has it in it. It has the killing capability, the killing instincts, and everything. But that muscle has been dormant for the period it
Yes.
has been in the zoo.
In the zoo.
It's like even as a human being, you know, many of us could actually maybe run
Yes.
many kilometers. It's just that we don't, you know, we are not like our forefathers who had to
Yes.
go and hunt and, you know, had to walk many distances either to find new pasture, to find new places to live. We don't have that now. All we have is we've got our cars or any means of transport that is able to quickly take us from point A to B. So we are not using, like, the tribe that I come from in Kenya is known for long distance walkers, you know. the
Walkers,
campers.
because we used to be traders.
We are traders. So how many of us could do what you're talking about, like the 25 kilometers? That's easy peasy.
That's
for-
easy for
for
that.
our forefathers.
It's not even easy. That is routine.
That's routine. That's what they.
That's
And I
routine.
mean, and I guess, and as it's, I guess that's why even it's good you brought up that point of going beyond the reward. For them, they didn't have to orient their mind in the sense of a reward. All they knew
There's
is
no
survival.
aspect of
All they
achievement.
knew is if I've got to get a meal for my family, I need to get there. Whichever way I have to get there. So I have to do that 25 plus, walk,
Yes.
run, whatever it takes. Go up that mountain and go down that mountain, to and fro. And I guess that's why, you know, a person like David Goggins with his mindset of just fucking do it. You don't seek for motivation. You're not looking to be, you know, I'm passionate about this. You know, we've put all these nice fluffy words around things.
Emotions, dopamine. It's like when I used to be young, very small, thinking from nursery to I think mid primary, there used to be something called Telegram. Not the Telegram app. It's a
I know
Telegram
Telegram. Yeah.
where you
Could send money
write
with
a
it.
statement and they
Oh,
count
no,
that.
there's MoneyGram. I know MoneyGram.
There used to be Telegram.
Yeah.
Telegram, you write your message and they count cents. One letter is 1 cent. You write it,
Okay.
then you take it to the post office.
Yeah.
Then you pay the money. Then the telegram is. It used to be then it will appear in the whatever post office that is there. Then you go to the booth and call that person or whatever. Tell them that, or you tell them a week earlier that I'll be sending you a telegram this week. So this person will be checking in fact, checking the post office was like routine.
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine the discipline level required to be checking the post office box every day or every week?
Mm.
And now we have SMS here.
Now we have SMS. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you
And
imagine the
WhatsApp.
discipline of before
What were we doing before mobile phones? How were people organizing meetings?
meetings?
I need
The
to ask
discipline
my
level
parents how that worked.
The discipline level had to be top of the line. And you look at things like transport. You either had a car, taxi, or a matatu. For the car, you're okay. Taxi, you have to walk all the way to where the taxis are parked.
The taxi rank where it is.
Yes. For the matatu, you have to walk the matatu stage. No tuk-tuk, no boda, no Uber. That one, whether or not you like it, it has an effect on your psyche or a general mentality of things are within reach. And I think slowly by slowly, we are getting to the point where easy life is turning us into weak men, and weak men make life to be hard. Imagine a situation whereby all of a sudden boda riders in your area go on strike, you'll be like in a crisis because you are used to you want to walk here to here, but since it's very sunny, wacha nipande boda mara moja. Now,
I mean, just imagine if we were to go, internet gets turned off.
man, that you feel sick. You feel like me whenever I'm doing okay. We can claim it's due to professional requirements, but also this is just sickness. My internet can go off for 30 seconds, and I'm calling my provider. Hey, what's going on?
I mean, now we look at our laptops. A laptop without internet connection is like it's a dead device.
Like, how come you don't have internet?
Yes.
Why?
You could still open up an application and write up something, pull up a spreadsheet, work on some numbers.
You can play a game.
You can play a game.
Yeah, there's so many things there. But you see, even that internet when you are there, it's not like you're doing something. You're just around. It's like, let's say you have nothing to do in CBD, but you just want to go there and just roam around, looking at the shops, looking at how the crabs are milling around. Then you go back home. Then when they tell you today you can't go to town, you feel sick. No, you can't go. No, I have to go to town. To do what? I just have to go. So you're like, I have to get into the net. Okay, was there an email that was due for sending? No. Was there an online task that was supposed to be done? No. Was there a message that was due to be received? No. So, mazee hii net hatuwezi kaa bila you. It's like, again, electricity. Let's say you finished cooking, you are relaxed, and power goes, you get pissed off. What were you doing?
Exactly.
You were doing nothing. The only difference is just there was light, now there's no light. And it's not like you are doing anything. After all, you know your way around your house. It's not like you are in a strange place. Were you reading? No. You are not watching a movie. You're just flipping through the channels.
And I mean, just imagine, COVID actually was quite instructive in the sense that how many real jobs are there in this world, really? What are the jobs that literally, if we kill those jobs, the world grinds to a halt? I mean, there are so many of these new titles that we've gotten. I mean, I even saw, where did I see this?
Let me just, there's somebody at
Somebody
my door.
at your door. Yeah.
Let me just.
Okay.
Okay. That was my the guy who supplies me with the garbage papers. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I thought you had also gone to take your Glovo delivery,
Yeah?
your Glovo dinner delivery.
Man, the only thing that I buy from outside are chapatis only, which I do once in a while. But the rest of the stuff I cook.
You're not making me think of chapos. There's some lady here, man.
Mm.
Let's not
They
digress.
are addictive. So I normally limit myself. I can only do maybe once in 2 weeks or once a week because I know myself. They are quite addictive. and they are quite cheap, 20 shillings. So if you start binging on them, man, you will get into a rabbit hole that, and I don't know. And again,
they're not
again,
good
again,
for your health.
on the subject, you remember there's a time chapatis were special.
Yes.
You know,
Us, our in our household, in our home, I think my mom used to make chapatis. It was a Saturday thing.
yeah,
Used to make them every Saturday. So that was like the
yes,
food program that she had set in the Mutua household. So Saturdays we knew was the day of chapos,
yes,
and that was a good day because then you could. That was even a day that you could sleep in late,
yes.
watching whatever you're watching on TV.
Mm,
Because it's a Sunday next day.
mm.
Yeah,
It
some good
in fact,
memories.
it made life so no internet, no computers, but you're looking forward to Saturday chapatis, and you're so contented. You're so life is
It's a little
wonderful.
thing, bro. The little things.
But today, oh, I want a 42-inch plasma screen. Oh my lord, I want I don't know Core i7. I don't know blah blah blah. I don't know this car. I need to have the latest BM. We have put so much noise in our heads. That's why someone said the day you will realize that, let's say you have a lot
Go.
of possessions, let's say you have a lot of gadgetry in your house, you have nice cars and what, the day you realize you are really poor is when you meet somebody with very little and maximum contentment. You'll be like, wow, I need to examine myself. Because one thing about gadgetry is, fortunately for me, I learned a very long time ago, I only buy things like phones when the current one is broken. But there are people there every 6 months, they are scouring the internet. I need the latest phone. I need to have the latest camera. I need to have the latest TV. I need to. It's a crazy cycle, and you are feeding the matrix.
Yeah.
These manufacturers, these dealers, these businessmen are so happy with you. You are
It's
blowing your
a
fun.
consumerism cycle.
Hmm.
That's what they're and they have built their businesses purely around that premise. I mean, why is iPhone having to change
Hmm.
every year? Every year they have, it's like, and I'm sure if you were to ask them if they are to give you a roadmap for the next 5 years, they have it. That technology is already there. Whatever technology that they're going to release maybe in 2020, in 2030, they have it today. But what they're
And
doing is they stagger it every time, and then they'll put that on and then call it iPhone 16s. They'll put that on, then call it iPhone 17. Yeah.
what
There's
is
somebody who
so
actually once asked Steve Jobs,
Hmm.
the iPhone does not have a way for changing the battery. You can't open the back and either remove and reinsert or get another battery and help it, sort of gain more life. But he said by the time you need to replace your battery, will have the new iteration or the new version will have come out. So why do you need that? So why don't you just get the new iPhone? So instead of having to
so it's programmed.
repair, can you
There's some
imagine repairs used to be a big thing, Kitambo. Now who repairs stuff? The last time I used to have I remember this came so strong one time, had a DVD player that got broken. And then I was trying to figure out where can I repair this shit. Then I happened to be at the supermarket at the time, and then I saw how cheap those shit. I was like, why do I have to spend time having to repair it? Why not can I just get a brand new one, probably
In
even
fact,
better?
my
There are even
current
some formats of CDs that I couldn't read. So I was like, let me get the whole new brand new one that will be able to a Blu-ray reader, Blu-ray whatever. You could read all the DVD formats that you needed.
in fact, my DVD player,
Mm.
it's locked up in a box.
You still have it. You ever saw that stuff?
So who do I sell it to?
But yeah, maybe
Yeah,
dispose of it.
it's
I'm one of
actually, in
those
fact,
electronic
the first one,
disposal centers.
the first DVD player I bought, it was, I think, Philips or something. Very nice machine, 5,000 shillings. Then when my house got, I think my house got broken into,
Ooh,
then I went to
sorry.
buy. Then the one that I took was LG. It had every feature. It was costing 3,200.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah, that's
now
true.
cheap shit. It works very well, kila kitu. And then after a while, I said, "Why am I?" I had stayed for 2 years without running it because either, okay, most of the time I was getting my my movies on Flash. So the DVD had been there for over a year without being used. So I said, what is this thing doing here? I unplugged it, packed it in a box. It's been there for 4 years now. And I think it will just be a monument of my past because what am I doing with it?
I actually need to get a CD player because I've got so many of my records now that I can't play. I can't play my jazz collection because now,
Can't you just convert them, put them into a
yeah,
flash drive?
I'll have to do that. I'll have to
Yeah, put
either
them in.
either go in and buy some new. I mean, now there's Spotify. I've got a subscription, so I can get actually some of that music on
Yeah,
Spotify.
and
Actually,
you just put it in
50%
your
of it is
in
still
your
available
flash
on YouTube.
drive. Put them in Google Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
with
don't
Google,
even need to store them locally. I mean, I can stream them anytime. Again, the internet now has become, it's not like
we are
before where
slaves.
you had to, yes.
That's
Can you
why,
imagine
to some
buying?
extent,
Yeah,
I believe in storing my music in my computer or in my flash disk. Because the moment we have a problem with the internet,
yeah, you
my
can still
friend,
play it.
umekwama.
I do have some stuff that is downloadable, but also you don't want to fill up your hard drive. Maybe not unless you have an external hard drive, you can put all that stuff there.
Mhm.
Um,
That is
yeah, I
the
mean, the world has
just
changed, but this is the new world we're in, man. The
take
new
that's
world,
it
and,
needs
and
just
it's gonna change some more
and if
and very
you see,
fast.
that's why we are looking at a situation whereby the next version of terrorism will be cyber terrorism.
Yeah,
Wake up in the morning, Yahoo, Google down, and you want to have a presentation, and since you want to show people you're a very cool guy, your presentation is on Google Drive, and Google is down, and then people and maybe you're presenting your stuff to some old school guys. They're like, "Kijana, una flash? Mnaekanga kwa flash?" And you're like, "Hey, man." So to some extent, I really want to. Okay, I do have some files in Google Drive, but there's some stuff I need to have with me. And or in fact, you may get to a situation whereby you are handling you're doing so stuff that is so sensitive, you may want even to burn it in a CD. Because
are people
yeah,
still burning stuff on CDs?
I don't know, but I don't know if they are there, but
I mean,
like
even this
the
the
Japanese
move.
train system, they run with a very old computer unit. They use the computer system. The computer is very old because it's unhackable. Because the more advanced something is, the more criticalities it has, the more weak spots it has, and the more people have access to its technology. But when you are running something that is related to Windows 3.1, who's going to hack it? The guys who are expert in 3.1, they retired or they have died or they are in a nyumba ya wazee somewhere. In fact, some organizations would rather work with MS-DOS, that keyboard-driven thing. If the information is such sensitive, the level of the higher the level of sensitivity, the lower the technology. Whereby you actually need to use a hammer or a bulldozer to break into a room. You can't access it through. In fact, there are some information you keep it in. I think there's this word we call air gapping. Air gapped computers. These are computers with no internet connection. If you need to access that data, you need to plug in physically. because this virtual world that we live in can be switched off. Remember when we were having one of those key-based spaces, all of a sudden Twitter went off. Then-
there's even some conspiracy theories that
Hmm.
this is something that has been planned. You just spoke of cyber crime,
Hmm.
and even most of our utilities, they all run on computers now,
Yeah.
and they're all
Hmm.
connected to the grid. So if you lose that connection, that means you might not have your water, your electricity, of course your internet will be gone. So, and we've lost a lot of this. We just spoke about activating some of those survival instincts and muscles. We've
Hmm.
not been practicing them. So
In
now,
fact,
when the
things
world
like-
goes dark, how do we survive?
I think things like water and power supplies should have what we call a manual parallel system that can
Yeah.
be activated maximum 10 minutes. We are back
Yes.
online. Hmm.
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden you are used to driving a automatic vehicle, then one day it fails. Whatever is available is a manual Bedford.
You have to do a stick shift.
Yeah. Does it mean that if this is a vehicle that used to supply important goods, we are not going to get the services? Because
mean,
whoever is there is used to driving automated optic cruise, autonomous driving truck, and what? Then all of a sudden, whatever you have is a Bedford. What are you going to do?
Yes.
It's important to have a manual backup anytime that can be activated in minutes in a seamless manner so that the guys who are downstream should not feel any difference. That is one thing. In fact, these are things that the president should be sitting down with his team. What are our backups? Water supply, power supply. What? In fact, I was reading
just-
somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Finnish Air Force. They fly F-18s. There's a time, I think I talked here about it. They had to close off part of some highway to train their fighters, their pilots, to land on the highway in the event that the air bases are bombed.
Yes.
In case the air base is bombed, where are you going to? Because a fighter without a runway is useless. So they were training. They actually had to block off a very large chunk of the highway. So these are some of the things that people at top echelons of the country should be discussing about. What if
I agree.
internet
And
goes off today?
I-
How is
I
the
think
banking sector run?
Yeah.
M-Pesa is dead. How are you going to transfer money? Do you have a
I just-
parallel system that can run next to M-Pesa? Do you have a parallel system that can run like Glovo? Maybe you have a crisis and you need to deliver ready food very quickly to people. For urban areas, for rural areas, do you have a system that can be switched off so that if you have a problem with the matatus, other vehicles kick in? I believe that's how to run the system. And I don't know if I normally ask if I remember there was a time NYA stepped in Nairobi with their buses. There was a problem with the matatus. I don't know, some cartel had gone into war with another cartel, so matatus had gone. All of a sudden, at 5 o'clock, many NYS buses showed up charging 30 shillings. So for me, that was wonderful. But I hope it was not a one-off. We should have these things on standby. This over-reliance on a particular technology, the moment that technology fails, we are sunk. Like now the airport. Power goes, airport is dark, and that power transfer should be seamless.
It
Things
should.
like
It should. I mean, that one, I think they dropped the ball big time.
These
But
are the
yeah,
things that
we should do these kind of drills, and I do feel
like assume the country is at war. What happens? Water supply,
just
food
imagine.
supply.
Even just imagine this service. We are now on YouTube. We are using a service called StreamYard. All these are services that are not hosted here locally. So how vulnerable are we? I mean,
Yeah.
even if the internet was to go dark, the international internet outside of Kenya, we should still be able to communicate to one another. I mean, what does it mean? What's the internet basically? It's just interconnection of computers. So why can't we also have it's like having a big local area network called Kenya.
Yeah. And that is something I believe
We
this
should
is
be
now
able to connect to America to access a particular service. I should be able to access for that locally.
that is now, I believe, this one now falls squarely on government. As a private individual, this is very difficult for you. This is something that has to take part, has to be implemented for the top echelons of the government, because this is linked to national security.
It does.
National
It
security.
does.
Because what if somebody uses this internet to spread some weird propaganda?
Yeah.
That's
what
why
they're doing.
Chinese have
That's what
Weibo,
they're
they
doing.
have all sorts of platforms that are tailor-made for them. So some stuff cannot filter into China, plain and simple.
Yes.
So that is part of our sovereignty. Some messages should not get into Kenya. We have put ourselves so vulnerable. That's why things like LGBTQ and whatnot are managing to get in. So it's all about protecting yourself at any time and having that discipline. It's about discipline. What if this one fails? What happens? What if transport system has a problem? Will people get to work? Things like in Japan, they have buildings which the foundation has things like shock absorbers that in
I
case
saw
of
that.
it will just be bouncing. See, they have adapted to their situation. What about us? In Kenya, where buildings collapse without even earthquake, inaporomoka tu yenyewe tu, because somebody somewhere performed some shenanigans, and I think it's an attitude issue, and I don't know, some of these, it makes one wonder what happens in these big discussions. Who wanaongea juu ya nini, to be sincere? Because when you start thinking of this thing, you realize we are very vulnerable. We are very, very vulnerable. Like
Yeah,
somebody hacked
yeah.
there's a time somebody hacked into this thing where they place you
Yeah,
wakati
eCitizen.
kuna madeni.
Oh,
CRB.
I know. CRB. Eh?
Somebody hacked into
eCitizen
CRB
here
and
was just
cleared a very
remember
large group of people. So no, if CRB inaweza kuwa cleared, what is then another guy walked in, did something to KRA, and he walked away with 2.3 billion shillings.
God
They
damn.
managed to catch him, but the fact that he was able to access that system tells you that there's quite a lot of work to be done. We are actually more vulnerable than we think we are.
That's true. That's very true.
So 1
Yeah.
hour of a free flow, non-rehearsed.
Today. Yep. Bro, non-rehearsed kind of conversation, eh?
So I had a word with Sharif Mustafa. He was having some engagement, but he
Okay.
promised to do a follow-up on the replay. So all is well. He's going to catch up. Can you see any viewers from your end? I can't see.
There was one who was coming in and out, but now he or she, whoever it is, left.
As we normally say, we ramble for our own.
That's true.
So it's actually 1 hour, 9 minutes. We can call it off till next Saturday. I say adios.
See ya.